देवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा भयं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। भक्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम राम। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Where we were? Second chapter.
Mataji, Shloka 4.
2.2.4.
2.2.4. Big purpose. Why is the big purpose? Okay. So we're discussing about the Lord in the heart. So Sukadeva Goswami is speaking about how Brahma, this prior to the manifestation of this, Brahma was concentrating on the Virata Rupa. Then he regained his consciousness just by praising the Lord. And he says, then here Sukadeva Goswami says, that the Vedic sounds, they are so bewildering that for intelligent people, it directs the intelligent people to meaningless things, which has no artha, narthas, like the heavenly planets. And the conditioned souls, they dream of these things. Then in the third verse, we saw how should be an enlightened person. He should only strive for minimum necessities. His intelligence should be vyavasayatmikaha, fixed intelligence. He should not endeavor for unwanted things like heavenly planets and all these things. He doesn't endeavor for doing any hard work which has no meaning. Let us see the fourth verse. Satyam shitau kim kashipo prayase bahau siddhe upabharhani kim satyanjalau kim purudhanna patrya divyal kaladau digval kaladau satikim dukulaihi satyam shitau kim kashipa prayasai baho swasiddhe hanai kim satyam chalau kim purudhanna patrya digvallakadau satikim tukulai. So here it is said, Satyam Shitau, earthly flats, means lying on the ground. It is easy to lie on the ground, isn't it? Kim Shapitaha, why you need bed and cot? These are extra. That is why a man works like a donkey. As soon as the wife comes, he needs some bed and cot. And nowadays, beds are, I think, not less than 50,000, 60,000. Now, when you have or 3 flats, why you need cots and bed? You say, no, my husband is a vice president, my husband is that and this. No, we need all these necessities. What to do? Then another, just see, when you have, what a powerful verses there. Baho, you have your arms, then why you need pillow? Why you need a pillow? Why you need a pillow? And then here it is read bed and bed sheet, bed and bed sheet. That means pillows. Then when you have palms on your hand, why you need varieties of utensils? Today also, if you go to Sri Vaishnu temple, you have Goshti. There's name Goshti. They'll make you sit. They'll tell you to hold like this. Then Pongal will come in your hand. You are supposed to keep like this. And then take like this. You are not supposed, anything. 3 times Goshti. You can just, an ample they'll give, ample. You can keep like this. And suppose somebody asks, you can give, because you're not doing jhuta. So he said, what is the necessity of utensils? Then, nowadays, so there is another trend. Every brahmachari also keeps their plate separate. Guru Maharaj's plate separate. This is my plate. This is your plate. Here it is said, for a grahastha, just imagine. And after taking a brahmachari, sannyasi, then also plates are different. Then what type of renunciation? Then, Valkala Adu. You have skins of trees. What is the necessity of clothing? So just see. The Purport Prabhupada writes, necessities of life for protection and comfort of the body must not be unnecessarily increased. To one extent, a grahastha, according to this, has got the privilege. But one who is in the renounced order, they should minimize their necessities of life. Who have taken a pronounced order, like Vanaprastha, Sannyasi, Brahmachari. Grahastha, as much as possible, minimum. As much as possible, minimum. There also, if he increases his things, then that's why, if you see a Madhva Sannyasi, the Sri Vaishnava also, they're very strict about this. They're very strict about their ways of life. Madhva Sannyasis are too strict. Too strict. So that all is given. Vrindavan Jijamataji read.
Hare Krishna Bhakti. Satyam Shitau Kim Kashipo Prayasai Braho Swasiddhe Hyupam Harnai Kim Satyanjalau Kim Puruthanna Patraya Digval Kalado Satikim Dukulai. Translation. When there are ample earthly flats to lie on, what is the necessity of cots and beds? When one can use his own arms, what is the necessity of a pillow? When one can use the palms of his hands, what is the necessity of varieties of utensils? When there is ample covering or the skins of trees, what is the necessity of clothing? Purport. The necessities of life for the protection and comfort of the body must not be unnecessarily increased. Human energy is spoiled in a vain search after such illusory happiness. If one is able to lie down on the floor, then why should one endeavor to get a good bedstead or soft cushion to lie on? If one can rest without any pillow and make use of the soft arms endowed by nature, there's no necessity of searching after a pillow. If we make a study of the general life of the animals, we can see that they have no intelligence for building big houses, furniture, and other household paraphernalia, and yet they maintain a healthy life by lying down on the open land. They do not know how to cook or prepare foodstuff, yet they still live healthy lives more easily than the human being. This does not mean that human civilization should revert to animal life, or that the human being should live naked in the jungles without any culture, education, and sense of morality. An intelligent human cannot live the life of an animal. Rather, man should try to utilize his intelligence in arts and science, poetry, and philosophy. In such a way, he can further the progressive march of human civilization. But here, the idea given by Srila Shukadeva Goswami is that the reserve energy of human life, which is far superior to that of animals, should simply be utilized for self realization. Advancement of human civilization must be towards the goal of establishing our lost relationship with God, which is not possible in any form of life other than the human. One must realize the nullity of the material phenomena, considering it a passing phantasmagoria, and must endeavor to make a solution to the miseries of life. Self-complacence with a polished type of animal civilization geared to sense gratification is delusion, and such a civilization is not worthy of the name. In pursuit of such false activities, a human being is in the clutches of Maya or illusion. Great sages and saints in the days of yore were not living in palatial buildings furnished with good furniture and so-called amenities of life. They used to live in huts and groves and sit on the flat ground, and yet they have left immense treasures of high knowledge with all perfection. Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Sanatan Goswami were high-ranking ministers of state, but they were able to leave behind them immense writing on transcendental knowledge, while residing only for one night underneath one tree. They did not live even 2 nights under the same tree, and what to speak of well-furnished rooms with modern amenities. And still they were able to give us most important literatures of self-realization. So-called comforts of life are not actually helpful for progressive civilization. Rather, they are detrimental to such progressive life. In the system of Sanatan Dharma of 4 divisions of social life and 4 orders of progressive realization, there are ample opportunities and sufficient directions for a happy termination of the progressive life, and the sincere followers are advised therein to accept a voluntary life of renunciation in order to achieve the desired goal of life. If one is not accustomed to abiding by the life of renunciation and self-abnegation from the beginning, one should try to get into the habit at a later stage of life, as recommended by Srila Shukadeva Goswami, and that will help one to achieve the desired success. Hare Krishna Mataji.
This verse is for one who is intending to progress in one's spiritual life. As by Srila Prabhupada, when he is giving example, he also followed. In Mayapur, he only stayed in a small kutir, though a big building was made, but he never asked for any facilities. That was very important. Chirani kim pathina santi dishanti bhiksham naiva gripa parabhrutah saritopi ashusyan ruddha guha kim ajitovati nopasannan tasmad bhajanti kavayo dhanadur madandhan chirani kim pathina santi dishanti bhiksham naivaghripa parabhutah saritopyashushyan ruddha guha kim ajitovati nopasannan kasmad bhajanti kavayo dhanadur madandhan. Chirani, that means stone clothes. Then pathi, that means roads. Nasanti, dishanti, nasanti. Are there no stone clothes lying on the common ground? Next. Dishanti bhiksham na eva angripaha. Parabhrutaha. So parabhrta means the trees they maintain others. So the trees Are they not giving alms in charity? The trees are giving alms in charity. They are maintaining others. Then, Sarita means rivers. Ashushyan. So, they have dried up. So, do the trees being dried up, are they not giving, no, do the trees being dried up no longer supply to the thirsty? Some water is left or not? They are not completely dried up. Are they not giving water? Even if it is dried up, have they closed? Guha, caves. So these caves, are they not giving protection? Avati, are they not giving protection? No, 1 minute. The caves are now closed. The meaning is the guha is closed. Even if the guha is closed, is not Almighty Ajitaha giving protection to the surrendered soul? Then, Kasmat, Bhajanti, Kavayaha. These learned sages, why they are going? Turmada Andhan. To those people who are intoxicated with dhana. Why they are flattering them? What a powerful statement, just see. Here, about the sages, renunciates have been spoken. Why you don't have torn clothes in the common road? Pick it up now, wear it. Trees, they have not stopped giving charity. They are having fruits. You can just pluck and eat. The rivers, even though dried up, they are giving water. Even if the caves are closed, why Lord's lotus feet is not there to take shelter? Then why you are going to a rich man's house? Durmadaha Andaha. He is so intoxicated by wealth, and you are intoxicated just to go and flatter him and take that wealth and live on their wealth. Don't flatter rich people. Because sages means one, sadhu means one who always has a knife in the hand. He should know to speak truth. He should know to speak truth. If he is flattering some rich disciple, then he is not a sage. If he is thrashing a rich disciple, if he is speaking truth, you nonsense. Prabhupada called rich people rascals and fools. Prabhupada did not flatter, nor he thought somebody is going to come and help me or not. Complete dependence on Lord. That is Prabhupada. There is that example everyone has to take. It is not that a rich disciple is there. Chalo, then the sadhus and the sannyasis and the brahmacharis are flattering. No. And nor the grahastha should expect that. If a grahastha is expecting some man and samman by a sadhu, or you can say sannyasi or a brahmachari or a spiritual master, then he is not a grahastha. If he is expecting this, he is like a prostitute. Simple. The word is very high. Yes, heavy also. A prostitute expects praises. It is said, one should be eager to hear scoldings from his spiritual master. Then only he is actually one's own. Simple. You beat your son, isn't it? You praise your son also, not that every time you have to get beaten. You praise your son also, but you have all the rights to beat him. So that you should allow the spiritual master to do. If you're allowing your Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru to thrash you, to beat you, then understand he's in the real sense Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. Shiksha means punishment. So Diksha means showing the, opening the eyes, showing the direction, showing the relationship. For that, teachings are required. Very nice, it has been given that why you should go to flatter somebody who's intoxicated by hard-earned wealth. Okay. Aruna, read. Nice.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam
Prabhupada has
Mataji.
given a big commentary on it.
Hare Krishna. Hirani kimpatina santi dishanti viksham Naivangripa parabrita saritopya shushyan Ruddha guha kimajito vatinopasannan Kasmad bhajanti kavayo dana durmadandhan. Translation: Are there no torn clothes lying on the common road? Do the trees which exist for maintaining others no longer give alms in charity? Do the rivers being dried up no longer supply water to the thirsty? Are the caves of the mountains now closed? Or above all, does the Almighty Lord not protect the fully surrendered soul? Why then do the learned sages go to flatter those who are intoxicated by hard-earned wealth? Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The renounced order of life is never meant for begging or living at the cost of others as a parasite. According to dictionary, the parasite is a psychopath who lives at the cost of society without making any contribution to that society. The renounced order is meant for contributing something substantial to the society and not depending on the earnings of the householders. The renounced order is meant for contributing something substantial to the society and not depending on the earnings of the householders. On the contrary, acceptance of alms from the householders by the bona fide mendicant is an opportunity afforded by the saint for the tangible benefit of the donor. Okay. In the Sanatana Dharma institution, alms giving to the mendicant is part of a householder's duty, and it is advised in the scriptures that the householder should treat the mendicants as their family children and should provide them with food, clothing, etc. without being asked. Pseudo-mendicants, therefore, should not take advantage of the charitable disposition of the faithful householders. The first duty of a person in the renounced order of life is to contribute some literary work for the benefit of the human being in order to give him realized direction towards self-realization. Amongst the other duties in the renounced order of life of Srila Sanatana, Srila Rupa and other Goswamis of Vrindavana, the foremost duty discharged by them was to hold learned discourses among themselves at Seva Kunja, Vrindavana, the spot where Sri Radha Dhamodara temple was established by Srila Jiva Goswami and where the actual Samadhi tombs of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami are laid. For the benefit of all in human society, they left behind them immense literatures of transcendental importance. Similarly, all the acharyas who voluntarily accepted the renounced order of life aimed at benefiting human society and not at living a comfortable or irresponsible life at the cost of others. However, those who cannot give any contribution should not go to the householders for food. For such mendicants, asking bread from the householders are an insult to the highest order. Sukadeva Goswami gave this warning especially for those mendicants who adopt this line of profession to solve their economic problems. Such mendicants are in abundance in the age of Kali. When a man becomes a mendicant willfully or by circumstances, he must be of firm faith and conviction that the Supreme Lord is the maintainer of all living beings everywhere in the universe, why then would he neglect the maintenance of a surrendered soul who is 10% engaged in the service of the Lord? A common master looks to the necessities of his servant. So how much more would the all-powerful, all-opulent Supreme Lord look after the necessities of life for a fully surrendered soul? The general rule is that a mendicant devotee will accept a simple, small loincloth without asking anyone to give it in charity. He simply salvages it from the rejected torn cloth thrown in the street. When he is hungry, he may go to a magnanimous tree which drops fruit, and when he is thirsty, he may drink water from the flowing river. He does not require to live in a comfortable house, but should find a cave in the hills and not be afraid of jungle animals, keeping faith in God who lives in everyone's heart. The Lord may dictate to tigers and other jungle animals not to disturb his devotee. Haridasa Thakura, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, used to live in such a cave, and by chance a great venomous snake was a co-partner of the cave. Some admirer of Thakura Haridasa, who had to visit the Thakura every day, feared the snake had suggested that the Thakura leave that place. But his devotees were afraid of the snake and they were regularly visiting the cave. Thakura Haridasa agreed to the proposal on their account. But as soon as this was settled, the snake actually crawled out of its hole in the cave and left the cave for good before everyone present. By the dictation of the Lord, who lived also within the heart of the snake gave preference to Haridasa and decided to leave the place and not disturb him. So this is a tangible example of how the Lord gives protection to a bona fide devotee like Thakura Haridasa. According to the regulations of the Sanatana Dharma institution, one is trained from the beginning to depend fully on the protection of the Lord in all circumstances. The path of renunciation is recommended for acceptance by one who is fully accomplished and fully purified in his existence. This stage is described also in the Bhagavad Gita 16.5 as Daivi Sampat. A human being is required to accumulate Daivi Sampat or spiritual assets. Otherwise, the next alternative, Asuri Sampat or material assets, will overcome him disproportionately, and thus one will be forced into the entanglement of different miseries of the material world. A sannyasi should always live alone, without company, and he must be fearless. He should never be afraid of living alone, although he is never alone. The Lord is residing in everyone's heart, and unless one is purified by the prescribed process, one will feel that he is alone. But a man in the renounced order of life must be purified by the process. Thus, he will feel the presence of the Lord everywhere and will have nothing to fear, such as being without any company. Everyone can become a fearless and honest person if his very existence is purified by discharging the prescribed duty for each and every order of life. One can become fixed in one's prescribed duty by faithful oral reception of Vedic instructions and assimilation of the essence of Vedic knowledge by devotional service to Lord. Hare Krishna.
Very powerful purport. Evam svachitte swata eva siddha atma priyortho Bhagavan anantah tam nirvritto niyatartho bhajet samsara hetu paramascha evam svachitte swateva siddha atma priyortho Bhagavan Anantah Tam Nirvrito Niyatartho Bhajeta Samsara Hetu Paramashchayatra Swachitte. Thus means evam, thus, swachitte, in one's own heart. Swataha, Lord is residing in one's own heart. How? By His omnipotency. Siddhaha, Siddhaha. So Lord is representing as now super soul in one's own heart. So what a person should do? Arthaha Bhagavan Anantaha. So that unlimited person is residing in one's own heart and is eternal. Anantaha. Tam Nirvruttaha. So the person who is detached from this world, Niyataha Arthaha. Permanent gain. He can attain permanent gain only by Bhajetaha. By worshipping. Samsara Hetu. Samsara Hetu Upara Maha. Now he is stopping his material existence. He has no desire for material existence. Or if one has to end the cause of one's conditioned state of existence, then what he should do? He should worship. He should worship that Anantaha, who is unlimited, and he is eternal. He is Bhagavan, he is eternal. And now he is residing in one's own heart. So that is why he has to render service unto the super soul who is residing in one's own heart. What is the meaning of render services to the super soul? So, generally a sannyasi or a brahmachari, they don't have any vigraha with them. They wander. They don't have any vigraha. They'll be wandering from here or there. So how will they serve Lord? They serve Lord by meditating on the Supreme Lord who is residing in one's own heart. Now when Prabhupada left to America, he didn't carry any deities. But he carried Bhagavatam. He didn't carry any deities. He had no temple to serve. But Prabhupada has provided all the facilities for the upcoming renunciates. Because he knows it's not so easy to become a renunciate also. Every facility is there. Even Vigraha is also there. But Prabhupada did not have Vigraha when he left. That is Prabhupada. So, but onto whom he meditated? There is a nice letter which he writes, not to anyone. He's just writing. Oh, it is Holy Purnima. I think it's called Holy Purnima, Aruna, we discussed. Tomorrow is Gaur Purnima. Everywhere. I think Nanda also some one festival. Just now we discussed, I'm not remembering. I am just sitting here. No temple. But anyhow, this is plan of Krishna. I think it was Adivas. And he's writing this. So tomorrow is Janmashtami. Then Nandotsav. I'm just sitting here with no temples around. But he did not miss Lord. Why? Lord, he's carrying Lord within the heart. Sadhuvo hridayam mayyam sadhunam hridayam tuham. I sit in the heart of the sadhu. And sadhu is there in my heart. So for a sadhu, they don't require vigor. To set an example, they do deity worship. So that the conditioned soul can give up their conditioning and be engaged in deity worship so that they can remember Krishna even when they are not chanting. Smartavya satatam Vishnu vismartavya na jatuchat. He's always remembering Krishna while chanting, but what about when he's not chanting? So that is why Vigraha is necessary, so that at least our mind will be focused in cooking for Krishna, in dressing for Krishna. But a sadhu doesn't have any Vigraha. But still he is meditating on Vigraha. He is writing books. So all the facilities has been given by Srila Prabhupada, who did not have any facility. But still, he wrote everything for us. Sitting and writing a glorifying Lord. He's describing about Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. Is he less? Is he less? Sitting and writing, and without any vigraha, sitting in the Brewery, such a dirty place. There are no facilities. If you remember, see, we have not seen Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, but at least we have heard about Srila Prabhupada. So we should never forget the dedication of Srila Prabhupada and the great treasure which Srila Prabhupada has given to us. So these all verses actually apply to Srila Prabhupada. That is why Prabhupada is a sadhu. Prabhupada is a sadhu. These all verses apply to Sripad Ramanujacharya. So in this way, they did not have any facilities. Running from Srirangam, going to Melkote, they did not have any facilities. He did not have anyone tilak also with him. Urdu Pulram. Lord gives. Running, what will carry or what? Now when we go, we have all these things. So many baggages packed. Then everything, when the mirror is there, the tilak box is separate, there's Ganga Jal. Sadhu is what they have. Mendicant what he has. That is why these verses are so wonderful. This applies for one who really wants to progress in devotional service. So he must be fixed up. And he should just worship Lord. His ultimate goal. That is how he can stop his conditioning state of existence. Sanjay Prabhu, read. Sanjay Prabhu slept, I think. No.
No. Hare Krishna Mata. Evam svachite svat eva siddha atma priyo artho bhagwan ananta tam nirvrito netartho bhajet sansara hetu parmascha yatra. Thus being fixed, one must render service unto the super soul situated in one's own heart by his omnipotency. Because he is the almighty personality of Godhead, eternal and unlimited, he is the ultimate goal of life, and by words worshipping him, one can end the cause of the conditioned state of existence. Purport. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the all-pervading, omnipresent Super Soul. Therefore, one who is a yogi can worship only him because he is the substance and not illusion. Every living creature is engaging in the service of something else. A living being's constitutional position is to render service. But in the atmosphere of Maya or illusion, or the conditional state of existence, the conditioned soul seeks the service of illusion. A conditioned soul works in the service of his temporary body, bodily relatives like the wife and children, and the necessary paraphernalia for maintaining the body and bodily relations such as the house, land, wealth, society, and country. But he does not know that all such rendering of service are totally illusory. As we have discussed many times before, this material world is itself an illusion, like a mirage in the desert. In the desert, there is an illusion of water, and the foolish animals become entrapped by such an illusion and run after water in the desert, although there is no water at all. But because there is no water in the desert, one does not conclude there is no water at all. The intelligent person knows well that there is certainly water in the seas and oceans, but such vast reservoirs of water are far, far away from the desert. One should therefore search for water in the vicinity of seas and oceans and not in the desert. Every one of us is searching after real happiness in life, namely eternal life, eternal or unlimited knowledge, and unending blissful life. But foolish people who have no knowledge of the substance search after the reality of life in the illusion. This material body does not endure eternally, and everything in relation with this temporary body, such as the wife, children, society, and country, also changes along with the change of body. This is called samsara, or repetition of birth, death, old age, and disease. We would like to find a solution for all these problems of life, but we do not know the way. Herein, it is suggested that anyone who wants to make an end to these miseries of life, namely repetition of birth, death, disease, and old age, must take to this process of worshipping the Supreme Lord, not others, as it is also ultimately suggested in the Bhagavad Gita 18.65. If we at all want to end the cause of our conditioned life, we must take to the worship of Lord Shri Krishna, who is present in everyone's heart by his natural affection for all living beings, who are actually the parts and parcels of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 18.61. The baby in the lap of his mother is naturally attached to the mother, and the mother is attached to the child. But when the child grows up and becomes overwhelmed by circumstances, he gradually becomes detached from the mother. Although the mother always expects some sort of service from the grown-up child and is equally affectionate towards her child, even though the child is forgetful. Similarly, because we are all part and parcels of the Lord is always affectionate to us, and he always tries to get us back home, back to Godhead. But we, the conditioned souls, do not care for him and run instead after the illusory bodily connections. We must therefore extricate ourselves from all illusory connections of the world and seek reunion with the Lord, trying to render service unto him because he is the ultimate truth. Actually, we are hankering after him as a child seeks the mother. And to search out the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we need not go anywhere else because the Lord is within our hearts. This does not suggest, however, that we should not go to the places of worship, namely the temples, churches, and mosques. Such holy places of worship are also occupied by the Lord because the Lord is omnipresent. For the common man, these holy places are centers of learning about the science of God. When the temples are devoid of activities, the people in general become uninterested in such places, and consequently, the mass of people gradually become godless, and a godless civilization is the result. Such a hellish civilization artificially increases the conditions of life, and existence becomes intolerable for everyone. The foolish leaders of a godless civilization try to devise various plans to bring about peace and prosperity in the godless world under a patent trademark of materialism, and because such attempts are illusory only, the people elect incompetent, blind leaders one after another who are incapable of offering solutions. If we want at all to end this anomaly of a godless civilization, we must follow the principles of revealed scriptures like the Srimad Bhagavatam and follow the instruction of a person like Sri Sukhadev Goswami who has no attraction for material gain. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Nice, powerful verses.
Yeah.
Next. Kastam tvanadritya paranu chinta rute pashuna satim nama puriya pashyan janam patitam Vaitaranyam Swakarmajan Paritapan Jushanam Kastam Tvanadriya Paranuchinta Kastam Tvanadriya yeah. Kastam Tvanadriya Paranuchinta Chintam Rute Pashun Asati Nama Purya Pashyanjanam Patitam Vaitaranyam Swakarmajan Paritapanjushanam. Okay, who So this is like a who will neglect. Who tam anadriya. Anadriya means neglect. Who is that person who is going to neglect? Para anuchintam, the transcendental thoughts. Rute. Who will do? Only materialistic people will do. Pashun. If he is a Pashun. Remember any verse like this comes? Who will neglect? Nivrittatarshe Upagiyamana. Raksha Mataji, chant the verse. Nivrittatarshe Upagiyamana.
Bhavaushada
Bhava
Shukramano.
Yes, Bhava Ushada Shro.
Manovirama.
Ka Uttama Shloka.
Uttama Gunanuvadan.
Punan Vibhajye Vinapashugya.
Vinapashugna.
So who will neglect? Only a person who is a materialistic person or who is attempting to do suicide. Pashugnat. He is spiritually ending himself because he is interested in material life. So this verse comes in Vivritta Tarshe Upagiyamana Bhavaushada Shukra Manobhinarma. Nivritta Tarshe. All our materialistic things, Nivritta. If you see 10th canto, you will get this verse. Only a person, same thing has been given. Only a person who is interested in what? The materialistic thoughts. He will neglect such transcendental thought. And then, what he is doing? Asatim Namah. He is only interested in chanting some non-permanent names. Non-permanent names. And then, in this way, Pashyan, he is seeing. What is he seeing? The general mass of people falling down. He is seeing that also. He is seeing. And then Vaitaranyam, the river of suffering. Vaitarana is a river which is dividing spiritual world and the material world. Vaitaranyam is what? The river of suffering. He is seeing, but still is interested in the materialistic life. Swakarmajam. Why is he suffering? Because of his own work. Well, then that is how Paritapan, he is suffering. He has himself taken the suffering. That is why a person who is not interested, only that person will not be taking all these things. Whatever till now Sukadeva Goswami has spoken, that will be not taken by the materialistic person because they don't want spiritual life. They just want some non-permanent names. Etiko, Tinky, Pinky, all non-permanent names. Somebody told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, see my family. My bacha ka bacha. Prabhupada told his disciple when he went inside, see sense gratification. This is an example of sense gratification. Non-permanent names. And then seeing the mass of people, they are seeing also the people are suffering because of their own karma. And they are pushed in this miserable condition. Okay. Ravindra Sachiputra Prabhu read.
Text 7. Kastamat tunadritya paranuchintam chintam vrite pashuna satim nam suryat pashyanjanam patitam vaitaranyam nayam swakarmajan pari tapan dushanam. Translation. Who else but the gross materialist will neglect such transcendental thought and take to the non-permanent name only? Seeing the mass of people fallen in the river of suffering as a consequence of accruing the result of their own work. purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Vedas, it is said that persons who are attached to demigods to the exclusion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are like the animals who follow the herdsmen even though they are taken to the slaughterhouse. The materialists, like animals who do not know how they are being misdirected by neglecting the transcendent thought of the Supreme Person. No one can remain vacant of thought. It is said that an idle brain is the devil's workshop because a person who cannot think in the right way must think of something which may bring about disaster. The materialists are always worshipping some minor demigods, although this is condemned in Bhagavad Gita 7.20. As long as a person is illusioned by material gain, he petitions the respective demigods to draw some particular benefit, which is after all illusory and non-permanent. The enlightened transcendentalist is not captivated by such illusory things. Therefore, he is always absorbed in the transcendental thought of the Supreme in different stages of realization, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. In the previous verse, it is suggested that one should think of the Super Soul, which is one step higher than the impersonal thought of Brahman, as it was suggested in the case of contemplating the Virat Roop of the personality of Godhead. Intelligent persons who can see properly may look into the general conditions of the living entity, who are wandering in the cycle of 8,400,000 species of life, as well as in different classes of human beings. It is said that there is an everlasting belt of water called the river Vaitharani at the entrance of the plutonic planet of Yavraj, who punishes sinners in different manners. After being subjected to such suffering, the sinner is awarded a particular species of life according to his deeds in the past. Such living entities, as are punished by Yavraj, are seen in different varieties of conditioned life. Some of them are in heaven, and some of them are in hell. Some of them are brahmanas, and some of them are misers. But no one is happy in the material world, and all of them, either class A, B, or C, prisoners suffering because of their own deeds. The Lord is impartial to all circumstances of the suffering of the living entity. But to one who takes shelter at his lotus feet, the Lord gives proper protection, and he takes such a living entity back home, back to himself. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Back home.
Back home, back to himself.
Nice purpose. Beautiful purpose. Prabhupada is there, that is why today we are studying Bhakti Vaibhav. These verses are not so easy to understand. Prabhupada has not only taught, but set an example. That is why he is Acharya. Acharati iti Acharya. Every Acharya is a Guru, but every Guru cannot become an Acharya. Understand it very nicely. Every Acharya is a Guru, but every Guru cannot become Acharya because it is not so easy to put it in practice. Not so easy. Everyone is conditioned in some or the other way. There's a relative conditioning. There's a relative conditioning. Some may be conditioned too much. Some may be conditioned in a different ways. So conditioning is there for every jiva. But Acharya, when you say Acharya, they refer to only certain important self-realized souls. Okay. Stop here. Any questions?
Yes, Mataji. May I ask?
Without that, there is without your questions, there is no meaning to the classes.
These verses are so powerful, as you said, Mataji. They provoke one to think so much. Actually, when we were reading these verses, Mataji, like you said, these are meant for renunciants. But then they are also meant for everybody who is keen on spiritual emancipation.
Yes. Grahastha should minimize the efforts.
Yes.
Should, like Pura Talwar, Puresha, simple. He did not even carry anything when he went to Ramanujacharya. In fact, a wife was carrying some small silver bowl. He threw that also.
Yes.
Even if a Grahastha wants to elevate himself, he can be as renounced as a sannyas. Once so happened, his wife Andal, she could not see because it was raining heavily. So Purat Alvar did not go anywhere to do Madhukari. So nothing was at home. So practically no food was there. So Andal could not see. Andal not of Trilan Alvars. Andal, wife of Kuresha. She could not see her husband not eaten anything. Practically 2-3 days they have not eaten anything. But Kuresha was doing his spiritual activities. But wife could not see that. So wife prayed to Ranganatha. You see, you saw something. Heavy rain, they could not go out. So in Palki, the Rajbhog, that is known as Arvane Prasadam. Arvane means palace. When the Arvane Prasadam goes out, in South today also, they will bring the Shenai and all. Shenai, Mridangam and all. Because it is Raja who is coming out. Because Prasadam and Lord are non-different. So that is how the Arvane Prasadam comes with all the Shenai and all to his house. So Andal feeds and then she takes the remnants. Kuresha looked at her. Did you ask anything to Lord? She said, yes. Why? Is Lord meant to easy order supplier? Why did you ask? Then she said, this is the last. If you ask anything, I am no more available to you. Just see, this is Grahastha. It's not that Grahasthas are not. Then this is arrangement of Lord. Because Arvane Prasadam gave 2 babies in the womb of Andal. That is how Ramanujar, he keeps the 2 babies' name as Vyasa and Parashara. Because this is a promise he has given to his guru, Yamunacharya, when seeing the body of Yamunacharya, 3 fingers clasped. He says, I will keep one of the disciples' children's name as Vyasa and Parashara. So when the 2 children appeared, Ramanuja then picked them and said, we are going to lead this Sri Vaishnavism in the further mode. So when something has to happen like this, it is Krishna's arrangement. So they were not just because of some sexual intercourse, no, nothing. They are the remnants born. Like remnants of Vimala Devi is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So is not Bhakti Vinod Thakur as a Grahastha, and that in such an important post?
Yes.
So it's not the one who is eager to progress in devotional life. He has no attachment for any post, though he was district magistrate. He utilized the post. He did not give it up. He utilized. Why? To beat such unscrupulous people. Put them in the jail, who call themselves as God. Then
But
stayed where?
Mataji, sorry.
Surbi Kunj, Bodrum.
Mataji, I was wondering, like now that we are so much conditioned, at least I am so conditioned, and
Every
we
one of
are.
us. We are into
Everyone is on such a transcendental
we
plane.
are into comfort zone. For this, our verse is only to study and get some marks and pass out Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav. We
No,
have
Mataji.
not understood the fragrance of this verse. Yes, we are able to relish because, oh, very nice. But one day you are just kept outside, now we cannot do anything. One day you leave aside. In the yatra, if there is no English toilet, oh, it's too much. So for us, we are conditioned. Somehow Prabhupada has made us walk in this path. Somewhere in any janma, or maybe in this janma or any janma, we can.
Mataji, with the
Much to comfort
conditioning,
zones.
the degree or our ability to take a posterity also varies. Like we see
Yes.
that
It
like
varies.
so how do we understand this in that context?
So I told now we are just in the path, just walking.
For renunciants, they have set this threshold, this mark.
Even renunciates now, so-called renunciates, Prabhupada writes. It's even they are also in the comfort zone. I have to end the class. Next class. I'll solve next. the next class. Okay. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
yes, yes. Hare Krishna.
Vanchati.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Vaishnavi.
Hare Krishna.
Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.